Whenever you walk up to their front desk, look at the receptionist.
Mhm.
If they are frozen and you can tell that the injections that they have is not what you want, then turn around and walk away
Yeah.
because that's the way they inject.
Yeah.
So
And so
no, I
Or
do
their
not inject.
injector.
I do not inject Eric.
Yeah.
If he's at our front desk.
Hey guys, welcome back to the AA Skin Babes Pod. I'm your host, Lena, licensed esthetician. I have Heather,
Heather Taylor, nurse injector.
Kristen,
esthetician.
and Haley. Thank you. I don't know
I
why.
know it looks like Hallie.
Yeah,
It's okay.
And I have a sister, Hallie.
Oh, that's
Uh-huh.
right.
Yes. my
Yes,
younger
Haley
sister's
Harvey. I'm a nurse injector at Rajneer Medical Spa in Overland Park, Kansas.
All right. Now we have Miss Laura with us
Hello.
and to carry on this conversation.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, girls.
How we
So-
starting?
Okay. Well, I just think so Haley and I were kind of linked up with Tony, our MERS Synergy rep for the Kansas City area. He said that we are so similar. And then
Mhm.
after meeting her over the weekend, he's so true.
Yeah, he
because,
pinpointed it. Yeah.
Yeah. No, we just love you. And I think one of the things that drew us kind of together too was the way that we inject and how we take a more
Like-mindedness.
natural approach and a
Mhm.
natural look. And that's kind of where the industry is headed.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm in Johnson County.
Right.
So there's a broad range of my demographic is, the scale is expanding
Mm-hmm.
in Johnson County. So, I mean, for the most part, my demographic is, women who are in their 40s and 60s, but I've got women that are my age that are wanting to fill their faces quite a bit. And I'm just not that injector. I
Right.
mean, I'll refer them to someone else,
Yeah.
but for the most part, I am very conservative. In a way, I mean, obviously, I want them to have a good result. And if that is more of a liberal approach, then I'm going to take that. But for the most part, just conservative. I want them to look refreshed.
Mhm.
I want them to look themselves, but
Just
just,
like
a little
a better
just
version
better.
of them.
Yes.
And I think Laura probably deals with a lot of clients that do have, neurotoxins and fillers. When is the best time to look the most natural when you're doing permanent makeup along with your injectables?
Well,
I mean, I always tell them, let your injectables set in, get your brows where we kind
Yes.
of want them.
Mhm.
Like if you have filler, get the filler in your lips where you want them, and then
yeah.
go to you. Is that correct?
I
for
do like the
permanent
lips
makeup?
to be done before I
Yeah.
get with them. But then I also have a vast majority of women that I do will continually do their Botox, do their fillers. And so I could do their brows. Actually, it didn't used to be this way, say 10, 15 years ago, but now that it's so mainstream
Mhm.
that, if I do them before, if I do them after, but if they stick with this,
Right.
and so with brows, I used to always say, let me do the brows and then go get your
Mhm.
Botox and stuff done.
Uh-huh.
But now
I know.
it's
I've
a
got
fine line.
I've got my brows done, and the brow gals that did mine, they didn't have a pinpoint answer. And so I inject myself, and so I would inject
Regularly,
myself.
probably.
I'd lift my hooded,
Mhm.
skin up and back, and then they would be able to see kind of where
Where
Want
wanted to be.
I
Yeah,
want them.
yeah.
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 And that's the other thing with following, actually, when someone's had Botox done through here, is I don't, speaking of the natural, I won't pinpoint anybody, but quite a few people here have had some permanent makeup done. And
All
can
of
you
us.
tell? No.
All of us. And that's what we
Yeah,
want.
yeah. Yes.
We want
People
to
are
natural.
blown
wake
away.
up. We
Mhm.
want to wake up and look our best
Yep.
without a lot of makeup.
Yes.
Yes.
Or
And I've had
product.
women who they'll want something that's so dramatic and it's actually a fad for now. It's just a
Yeah.
fad. for
Trends
now.
are always changing.
So I won't do any trends.
Mhm.
Honestly, I've seen, and I might be somebody may or may not agree with this. I've seen wings that start here when you're 30, and permanent makeup does fade.
Mhm.
It does not completely dissipate. So when you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s,
Right.
you're going to have
just
a line
keeps
that is
falling.
straight out.
Yeah.
With brows, the arches they want, the square, the big. You can go to an injector, have your brows done naturally, and if you're like, oh, I just want a little, she can do it. They can do
Yes,
that.
yes.
They can
We
lift
can
a little
tweak.
bit. They can
Mhm.
tweak. And then when maybe that fad is over, no more tweaking there.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
it can be done. But if it's permanently there,
Right.
Well, and I know
We
I
don't
have
want that.
several clients that have been like, well, I got my brows done 3-4 years ago and it didn't hold.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you don't want it to hold.
Right.
You want it to
Because
be
your
able
skin
to
changes
grow
color.
with
yeah, your
you.
skin
Yeah,
changes, our
right.
skin falls. I wish I can say that our skin is going to stay where it's always going to stay, but you want to be able to do those touch-ups.
Mhm.
Right.
And
main
then maybe
thing about-
tweak it the color because, our
Yeah,
color changes
yeah.
as we age too.
Yeah, it's not the ink that's changing. If the right color choice for your skin tone at the time was good, you're not going to have massive color changes. But as Caucasian women, us four, our skin will get ruddier and ruddier as we get older, and so you want your brows to fade out so that can be corrected into your 40s and your 50s if you want to keep it up.
Yeah.
So you don't want to have it one and done. You don't.
Yeah.
It's always amazing the clients that, I'll say something about my brows and they're like, I had no idea.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's
Same.
exactly what
That's
I'm going after.
undetected work.
Yes.
Yes. And when it's mentioned, then that's when I get phone calls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want Heather's brows.
Yes.
Yes.
I get phone calls.
Yep.
Yep.
Mhm.
I didn't know
Yeah.
that. She doesn't draw her liner on.
Right. And then the misconception about the pain, of it,
Yeah.
with the under eyes. So then that's a whole other conversation.
That is the biggest fear. Is people have more fear
It
about
is.
their eyes,
And then
the
I tell
tissue
them-
is such a thin, spongy tissue,
Yep.
easiest to numb.
That's what I tell
all
them.
of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm
Yeah.
like, the under eye
And yours
liner
was
nothing.
because you had a little struggle with the brows the first time, and the eyeliner. You were like, okay, just do it. And you're
I
like,
know.
are you doing it?
I know.
you
I'm
do?
like, this was
You were so
nothing.
happy.
Nothing.
I know.
She
I
was so happy.
was. I
Yeah.
was
Well,
so
and
happy.
there's a procedure I want to touch while Haley's here is the under eye filler.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
you do under eye filler, so tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I do just about everything when it comes to facial and body aesthetics. So I do temples, tear troughs, jawline, chin, neck.
What is involved in the tear troughs? Because I
Um,
have a lot of, or I have several clients that have asked
You
about that, and
know,
I've sent them on.
The way aesthetics is ever evolving, about 5-ish years ago, tear trough filler was a huge trend fad
Right.
that people were doing. And it was being overdone.
Mhm.
And that skin is just so thin, it's delicate. We've got to treat it with kindness. And
And
so
isn't
I
it
do
very
it.
vascular.
Oh,
is
our whole
very-
face is
yeah.
very
Okay.
vascular.
But I was
yes.
thinking the whole eye
Oh,
with
yes.
me too, and
Yes.
the upper liner.
Yes.
And stuff.
So it's tricky. Obviously, you want to go to someone who knows what they're doing and will, be very precise with it. But so we've got to be conservative in that area, and they have to be the most cookie cutter candidate.
Yeah.
No allergies.
Right.
No allergies. This is a hydrophilic product. It's going to pull water to that under eye, and it's going to make you look worse.
Right.
So there's other options. There's PRP, PRF, the easy gels, the fillers, that is the hyaluronic acid gel. So we do the PRP and the filler at our Medspa. And so I'll do it, but I will look around that area. Okay, do you need cheek support?
Right.
Okay, do you need some temple support? Are you looking like a peanut?
Right.
Where they're hollow here and dipping, or, are they very flat
Right.
and
And that's what's pulling down.
yeah, do
making
they
it
have
look
fat
like-
loss here in their cheek, or do they've got fat displacement down here in their nasolabial fold? So if we look at the mid face and replace a little bit of volume loss or that fat displacement with a little bit of cheek filler, sometimes they don't need the tear trough filler.
Well, and that's the thing that when in my situation too, because I don't do tear troughs, and I would say 9 times out of 10, just supporting that mid face and just kind of
Yeah.
extending it upwards,
Mhm.
like you said, just
It does tweak it.
It
It
does.
does. It
it
makes them look refreshed.
does.
It does. Did we address the issue? Did we put a Band-Aid on it? Maybe a little bit,
Right.
but they still look better.
Right.
And they're happy with it.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
So if you're not comfortable doing it, then I think that's totally okay.
Yeah.
But
But that's the thing is I will then refer them out because
Yes.
I am never going to do anything that I am not
Comfortable with.
100% confident and comfortable
Mhm.
with. So,
Yeah.
and that's where, we talk about, clients that still want to stick in that unnatural phase of injections. Like the industry is beyond that now.
Well, and we talked about it's almost harder for us to
It
make
is.
someone look more
Unnatural,
than it
right.
is to make them look
right.
natural. So the whole goal is to make our work undetectable, where
Yes.
people kind of turn their head and I'm noticing something's different, but I don't know quite what it is.
Right.
Yeah,
and
and
that's the key.
I think it's the
Mhm.
key is to wake up looking like you have put on a full face of makeup.
Right.
You know,
Mhm.
between IPL and microneedling and different things that we can do to help to correct the tone and texture of your skin,
Yeah.
then that eliminates the need for as much makeup. Because honestly, ladies, at our age, the more the makeup, the crepier and
It
the
dries your skin out.
it dries your
does,
skin out,
yeah.
but it just falls into your wrinkles and it
Yes.
makes you look worse than what you are. So our goal as we get older is to maybe reduce the amount of makeup that we're
Yes.
using by improving the texture and tone of our skin.
But it's that multifactorial, like where
exactly.
it starts at home with your products, that medical grade skincare, wearing your SPF, then, going to your estheticians, them doing some resurfacing. Youthfulness is seen, on our surface. And then, youthfulness is a little bit deeper than that as well. So doing the tone and texture with your skin treatments, but then like us going deeper
Right.
and helping them with that youthful contour, dimension, fixing the hollow, the
Right.
shadows,
Yeah, and I think
lifting,
it's
tweaking.
it's important too because our eyesight gets worse as we get older. Just tattoo that makeup on, tattoo your brows on, tattoo your eyeliner on, and that way you don't have things that are mismatched. And I know before I did my brows, of course, I'm blonde, but my brows turn gray. And so I have lots of brows here, but you just cannot see them. And so by having Laura go and tattoo my brow, and my brows weren't as I like my tails because I have little tiny eyes, so I wanted some tails on the end to kind of to make my eyes a little wider and deeper. And just by doing that made me look more awake, more refreshed.
I agree.
And as far as fillers and Botox, Botox. I just have some on my forehead and around my eyes. I don't have fillers, and so I do all these other things. Someday that may be a
We'll
process
get some
that I do.
biostimulators in her.
Yeah, that is what I want.
Yeah.
But just doing the little things and being natural as possible, because if you overdo it at a young age, it's just going to get worse and worse and worse as you get older. It's easier to add more filler and to add more lip filler and to add more Botox, whatever. It's easier to do that than take it away.
Yes.
Well, and I just think that's where the industry is headed. I mean, when I started 6 years ago, I feel like it was a very unnatural look.
Yeah.
And I struggled with that. I mean, I did it, but I just.
And it's hard to tell people no.
Right.
It is.
Especially when you're starting out. But then I'm just like, okay, listen, my eye just goes to a more natural look.
Yes.
And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that as an injector. And I'm so thankful and glad that that's how the industry is headed.
Yeah, I agree.
We're really focusing on good skincare, preserving our skin
Starting
integrity.
younger.
Yeah. I mean,
Mhm.
starting younger, and it's a more natural look.
Well,
and I
and
love that.
what I tell my clients is when you go to get your injections, whether it's with us or with Haley or whoever, whenever you walk up to their front desk, look at the receptionist. If they are frozen and you can tell that the injections that they have is not what you want, then turn around and walk away because that's the way they inject.
Yeah.
So,
And so
no, I
Or
do
their
not inject.
injector.
I do not inject Eric.
Yeah.
He's at our front desk. I don't do that.
we can
So.
barely
Well,
get
I
him to get
often-
the facials.
facials.
He
Yeah.
loves the head spa treatments. Every time we
Yes.
turn around, he's back
He's
there
in
with the
there.
girls doing head spa
Oh my
treatments.
gosh, yes.
No, I've got
So-
people that do the consultations and it's almost like they take a breath. They're like, oh, you look normal.
Yeah, you look normal.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yes.
like, I'll take that as a compliment, I guess.
Yes.
But they're like, they trust us with their face.
Right.
And it
Yeah.
is scary for people that are just starting out, dabbling in the world of aesthetics. They already have the confidence. They have the confidence to step foot in those doors. They are seeking us to further their confidence.
Yeah.
And so it's a lot of trust that they have to put in us. And I'm so glad that,
Yes.
you and we're going to take care of them. We've got their best interests at heart.
Well, because like we've said, I mean, this is our walking advertisement too.
Yeah. My name is on your face when you walk out these
Right.
doors, and I want to represent it well.
What do you think some of the misconceptions of being a nurse injector are in this industry?
Well, I know I had them. When I first started, I've been a nurse for 10 years. I've been doing aesthetics for 3. And when I wanted to change routes and step away from the bedside and choose to be a nurse injector, I was like, this is easy. This is going to be so easy. I'll just little Botox here and there. No, you've got to know your stuff.
Yes, you do.
The evidence, the knowledge, it's medicine. I
It's
actually
a-
had this conversation with my husband last night because I'm like, aesthetic medicine is moving at such rapid speeds. And he's like, medicine? And I'm like, yeah,
It is.
like Botox
Right.
acts as a vaccine to
Right.
some
Yeah.
people.
Mhm.
And he's like, I just never thought of it that way.
Mhm.
And it's like, no, we are a medical
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
and that's
position.
why it needs to be, having a medical director, having a doctor that
Yeah.
oversees you, knowing your facial anatomy,
Yes.
never stopping your
Education.
education.
Like
Yes.
thirst for that education because
Yes.
this specialty is the fastest growing.
is.
It is evolving
Mhm.
so quickly, and we have to keep up,
Yeah.
or
Yes.
we're going to be left behind.
And it's definitely not easy.
It's not easy.
I
It
mean, it
is
is. You have constant danger zones in every
constant.
area
Yeah.
and plane in the face.
Yeah.
So
So I think that's a huge misconception.
Yeah.
People think that our job is easy
Mhm.
or we make a lot of money.
right,
And although, like, yes,
right,
I feel like I am financially, supporting my family with what I'm doing.
right,
But, I'm not, in LA
right.
or
Mm-hmm.
Well, they just assume, oh, well,
They
you're
just
charging
assume
this amount of
this
money,
amount of
so it must
money,
just
yeah.
be all of
Uh-huh.
yours.
Yeah.
now, and I
No.
loved this analogy. Like if we had 2 syringes of filler sitting here and I hand one to her who doesn't inject,
Uh-huh.
and then I have one, yeah, they're the same product, but 2 entirely different people
Absolutely.
holding that syringe.
Mhm.
And so that price behind that
Mhm,
syringe of
mhm.
filler, it's expertise, it's
Right.
precision, it's everything. It's the power behind the filler.
Absolutely.
So yeah, they see that number and they don't really know what they are paying.
Right.
They don't know if we're 100% commission or not.
Mhm.
And so I
Yeah.
think a misconception is we make a
Well,
lot of money.
Ladies, I think we've had a wonderful episode. We could talk and talk and
Oh,
talk and
yeah.
talk on this all
Yes.
day long. So we're gonna have to say goodbye to everybody. So with us is Heather Taylor,
They're Taylor Nurse Injector. Thank you guys.
Laura,
Laura Jambrosic, cosmetic tattooist. Thank you.
Haley Harvey, nurse injector. Thank you guys so much for having
Oh,
me.
yes,
we
I'm so
love it.
glad
We'll do this again.
Yes.
And then I'm
Yes.
Kristen. I'm an esthetician, and thank you for joining our show today.
Yes. Thank
Bye.
you guys.
Bye.
Bye.